Yes, good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Just a chilled one today. Transfer window opens in what, 8, 9 days? Hang on, let's have a look. What's the official? How many days until the 1st of January? 9 days, right. 9 days until the transfer window opens. And look, we do this game every year, don't we? Where we go, this window's the most important one. This one is. Um, I'll be brutally honest. I've been underwhelmed by Tottenham transfer windows for decades. Underwhelmed in the summer, underwhelmed before that. I don't care how many people try and tell me we signed 4 players for the first team. You're replacing 4 players for the first team. We didn't actually build, didn't actually get better, didn't actually grow. It was just 4 out, 4 it. Okay, brilliant. That's what we're doing now. Look, I listen. As I said, I've got so bored of all the point scoring. Yeah, as I said, got on another panel show last night. It's point scoring. I just don't know what's ever going to happen to make this club better. Whatever's happened for years and years and years hasn't worked, but yet we keep saying that nothing really needs to change, right? We keep saying that players are good enough. Sure, the players are good enough, but have been shit for 3 years. All right, the managers are shit. Sure, okay, both the managers are shit. We go back into Conte's era. At the end of Conte's era, you're not allowed to say this, by the way. The end of Conte's era started going like that. We were 5th when he left, yes, but the results were starting to go like that. They always do. Why? Because the players aren't good enough. Now, maybe we need a new manager and new players and new director of football and a new culture. I think the whole football club is an absolute mess. Look, I know people want to hear me talk more about Thomas Frank. I think Thomas Frank will go. I think he will be sacked sooner rather than later. If they have somebody else that can come in and take the reins. I think at the moment they might struggle to find someone. I genuinely do. I think we're a mess. I genuinely think this club is an utter shambolic mess. I said that in the summer that I felt it was a really negligent window where we had a very good opportunity to kick on. And again, our mindset as fans, isn't it, is that we can do the bare minimum and go, yeah, good window. Other clubs don't have that mindset. Their mindset is they keep going, they keep smashing through barriers. And unfortunately, we don't have that mindset. We think that 2 loans and two senior players coming in is a great window. It's not. It's simply not. Look, I don't know. I don't know where we go. I don't know where we go from here. So let me say, yeah. So Thomas Frank, as I said, I think he will be sacked at some point. Results will result. And results are the be-all and end-all for any manager. It doesn't matter what your name. It doesn't matter if your name is Savva, Thomas Frank, Angepostecoglou, Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola. It doesn't matter what your name is. Results will dictate. As I've said, what I think will happen is when Thomas Frank is sacked, I think the new manager will come in. We'll see an immediate uplift. We'll get more out of these players in the short term. And then in the medium and the long term, we will go back to what we've seen for the last however many years. And that's what happens when you do not have a squad good enough. And I genuinely don't know where we go from this. I keep hearing fans say Thomas Frank isn't our level and this player isn't our level. I don't know what our level is. I genuinely don't. I look at since the Poch era, I don't know what we are as a football club. I don't know what we are. Our level. I don't know what our level is. The name Tottenham is a lot bigger than what's actually going on at Tottenham, right? So when we say Tottenham Hotspur is a big club, yeah, by name, by finance, by history, we're the 6th biggest club in the country for trophies won. But when you actually look at the football club over the last few years, whoever we want to put the blame on, it's a mess, isn't it? We buy Odebers and Tells and Bergvals and Greys and Richarlisons and Johnsons. We re-sign Ben Davises. we signed Vicarios. I mean, maybe I'm harsher than the average fan, but when I see Spurs make these signings after signing after signing after signing like this, no part of me goes, what a big club we are, or I'm expecting big things. No part of it. No part of it. And like I said, lots of people keep saying to me about, oh, you wanted Frank. I did want Frank, but I also wanted Spurs to build something. And it appears that we're not going to build anything again. So it's not just, oh my God, Frank is everything. For me, I want to bring in a manager, but I want to build with a manager. And already after 4 months, it looks like we're going to make more changes. Directors of football, it looks like a manager might go. And I get it. The immediate noise, I get it. I get it, the immediate noise. I feel like people say I don't get it. The immediate noise from football fans is we're all the same, right? We're always like, now, what's happening now? We've not what we've won 1 in 10 or 2 in 10, whatever it is. This is poor now. And then we get what we want. And then after that, we kind of realize, oh, everything's gone. Everything's kind of gone back to what it was a few months ago. Why? Because it's the same culture, the same ethos, the same players. And look, I'll give you an example. Do we truly believe if Jurgen Klopp came into this football club right now, what massively changes if he's not backed? We saw this. We saw this under Conte and we saw this under Jose. And luckily for those two, luckily for those two, they had Kane and Son. And if we had Kane and Son now, we wouldn't be in this mess because Kane and Son paper over everything. I mean, in their peak. So I don't know where as a football club we go. I don't know where as a football club we go. All it seems to be when you talk about Spurs is point scoring, but you said this, that. Who cares who said what? What does it matter? It's just pathetic YouTubers point scoring. But you said this, who cares? Right now, I want to know what Spurs doing now. We're in a mess. What are we doing now? What are we doing? We're here. How do we get to there? What are we doing now? Not what's happened in the past. What's happening now? And that for me is where I need to see Spurs have a plan. And I talked about this so many times. A plan. Talked about this before. Sack the manager, cool. Sack the director of football, cool. Sack Levy, cool. But what's the plan? What's the new plan? What is the plan going forward? What do we do? Or are we going to constantly live in this world where every year and a half, the manager goes, most of the players stay, we loan loads of kids out, none of them get a game. The director of football changes. And then a few years down the line, we're sitting here going, well, what's changed? Well, nothing, because nothing's been implemented. And this is what frustrates me about when you look at the summer. When you look at the summer, I really thought we had a chance to make a statement. You know, going into the new season, Champions League. You know, as I said on the show last night, we crept through the back door of Champions League last season, right? And it's not knocking anybody. I'm not talking about Ange. I'm just saying we crept through the back door and finished 17th. Right? So, in the summer, we had the opportunity, right? Let's really go. Let's really go and fill out this squad. Let's really go and buy some good players for this squad. And we got 2 permanent signings and 2 loans. It's got to be the most lazy Champions League transfer window you could ask for. It's just lazy. And I keep being told that hindsight, this isn't hindsight. You all know I said this in the summer. This was a really good opportunity. Go and get another left back because we don't have left backs at this club. Nope, didn't bother. Go and get a ball-playing midfielder. Nope, didn't bother. Go and replace Son. Didn't bother. Go and buy a top centre forward we can build around. Didn't bother because Mawani on loan at the end of the window is easier. It's not just that summer window. Every window we do this, and every window there's an excuse. Every window there is an excuse as to why we weren't able to do what we wanted to do. Every window. Like, Oh, but we tried. We tried. That's not an answer. Man City didn't try, they did. Arsenal didn't try, they did. Liverpool didn't try, they did. In the end, Newcastle got what they needed, right? These clubs don't try, they do. Chelsea did, they did. We try, they do. And we still have fans. This is the problem. We still have fans that right now, I mean, look at the troll in my chat right now. What other Premier League teams sign 4 or more first-team players? They just don't get it. They don't get it. We signed 4 first-team players because we lost 4 first-team players. We didn't build the squad. These people don't. I'd love some of these people to go and spend a day at a football club and actually see what is needed. Not, this is Football Manager. All we did, as I said, we replaced 4 with 4. It's crap. Not the players are crap, but it's crap. It's not doing what you needed to do. And Tom, you're absolutely right. See, I'm trying to, I don't know if you've noticed, Tom, I've tried to step away from all this point scoring of he said, she said. I want to look at this. It's years of neglect. Years and years of neglect. Years of neglect have left us with the 6 midfielders we've got. Basuma, Bentancur, Bergvall, Gray, Sarr, and then Paulinho on loan, who's not even our player. That is absolutely years of neglect. Years and years. No one does that. Other clubs don't do this. They don't allow. You watch, I bet you in the next 2 transfer windows, Man United, I bet in the next 2 windows, Man United go and sort out that central midfield area. I bet you any money they go and bring in 2 top centre mids. Any money you like. I'll have that bet with anyone. And I'm talking about Man U, by the way, who've been down in the dumps. I'm not even talking about Man City, Liverpool. We've got to understand as well, and again, something that never gets talked about. When we're talking about other clubs, some of the other clubs don't have to buy 4 first-team players because what they've got is very good squads that they can just do 1 for 1. Or we need 1 or 2 things here. Our squad has been decimated for years. Decimated for years and years and years. And notice, you see whatever I'm talking about. Still in the chat, people still want a point score talking about Ange. Like, it's as though this fan base is incapable of going, okay, we're in the mess we're in. What do we do? What do we do? We just go, oh, but you said, and in 2022, you said, and everyone said things that are right and everyone said things that are wrong. It's just that my face is on camera every day. And I think this is absolutely it. I think this is absolutely it. See, and again, let me break this down for you and show you this guy's a troll. We all wanted this type of 6 in Ange's formation, right? Nothing wrong with Paulinho, good player. And yes, most wanted Son gone. But you know what? We wanted him replaced. And you know what? He wasn't. I don't understand. Kudus was a good signing. Mawani, panic bar on the last day of the window. Xavi needs time to settle in. All that replaced, all that did was replace Solanke, Maddison, and Son, right? We didn't build on top of it. We did not build on top of it. I don't know how people don't understand this. If 4 go and 4 come in, you have not strengthened your squad. You have not added to the squad. We knew we had Champions League football. So again, move past who the manager is for 1 minute. Move past who the managers are. See, again, we've got children, unfortunately, that don't get it. 4 out, 4 in. We didn't strengthen the squad. I don't know how people don't understand this. This is not a computer game. When Spurs are going into Champions League games, we have midfielders to pick from like Sarr, Bergvall, Gray, and Bentancur. Again, listen, I'm just going to block you. I'm literally criticizing them right now. I'm literally criticizing them right now. The club have not done enough. This is what I don't get. How are these people, how are they breathing the same air as us? I'm literally criticizing the club for the summer right now. And he says, I don't see you criticizing Vinay or the Lewis family. Who is it he thinks I'm criticizing then? They're the ones that make all these decisions. If anyone thinks we really strengthened in the summer for a Champions League campaign to play twice a week off the back of finishing 17th, we're in La La Land. We're in La La Land. This squad needed surgery, massive surgery, didn't come. I said this in the summer. This isn't because we're doing poorly now. Said this in the summer. We're going to regret this. Said it in the summer. We're going to regret this. Years and years of build-up. Years and years of buying poorly. By the way, look how many people are actually overrating Mawani. So Mawani, France international. What does he do? What? He doesn't score goals. He's never really held a place down anywhere. For what reason? And I mean, me and you get this. The children in the chat don't get it. This isn't about an 11. This is about a squad. You're playing Champions League. You're playing every 3 days. Look at Palace right now. If you notice, Palace are going like that. Palace's form is starting to drift. Why? Because they're starting to realise you can't play every 3 days with the same players. I'm just going to put Matt into a timeout, by the way, because he's not listening. He doesn't ever listen. And he always bottles it. He never wants to come on and have a chat. He bottles it. Just absolutely bottles it. Let me explain for those at the back again. When we're saying we signed 4 first-team players, we replaced 4 first-team players. We didn't add 4 first-team players. We replaced, and with worse, right? We replaced with worse. We didn't bring in 4 first-team. If Madison was fit and Kulu was fit and Solanke was fit, and then we went, right, we're signing 2 top centre mids, a top left winger, a top left back, I'd go, right, we've added 4 first-team players to the team. And then other players go down to the bench. We didn't. We added 4 because 4 can't play. Some have left and some are out for the season. This isn't rocket science. This isn't rocket science. This is basic math 101, right? We didn't add depth. Agreed, Dan. Agreed. And do you remember at the time, Dan, these same fans, people like the Mats and Marioses that don't get it, they'd say things like, oh, you can't buy him because where does he play in the team? Oh, you can't play him. Ericsson plays there. We do this all the time. We don't buy a squad. We don't buy a squad. If Spurs signed 4 first-team players, how comes the 11 is not even complete? Let that sink in. So Spurs have signed 4 first-team players. By the way, 2 on loan. Again, look, every show, these people say the same thing. Angepostecoglou had Kulu, Madison, Solanke, Son. We don't have that right now. We don't have that right now. This isn't about Ange, though. Can we stop? Can we just stop this? It's just getting embarrassing how people like you don't listen. I'm not a fan of Frank. I'm not a fan of Ange. I'm a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, right? This constant merry-go-round is just, it's draining. One position. Look at the rest of the squad they built. One position. Look at the rest of the squad they built. And in that time, they still had Havertz who could play there. Gabriel Jesus, who's a striker, right? So not strictly true. Look, as I said, the summer showed me everything I needed to know. Son going and not being replaced should have shown all of us. It should have shown all of us that Spurs aren't serious. I don't get it. How is any Spurs fan comfortable that we let Son go? And yes, again, I always feel like I have to explain this because people don't listen. Son needed to go. It was the right time for Son to go. Spurs didn't replace him in an entire summer window. And then the excuse is, but we tried. What a shit football club, but we tried. And I don't know of another fan base that talks like this. I genuinely don't. When I stream with other fans of other clubs, right? They don't talk like this. They don't talk like having a window like we had and go, yeah, good window. They look at it and go, well, hang on, we haven't got a left wing or a left back, a centre. They're going, what didn't we get? We're all going, oh, but 4 players came in. Yeah, 4 players went out. Like, it's not rocket science. Build. Poch warned us, didn't he? Build. Conte warned us. Build. Fans don't seem to understand this. You've got a squad. You need a squad. You've got to build a squad. You've got to get a squad. And until that changes, I don't know what changes. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what changes. Everyone, as I said, everyone's so intent on point scoring that no one's looking at the bigger picture of a football club. But you said this, but you said this, but you said this, but you said this. You're in the mud. Oh, cook him. What is this childish bullshit? Right now, what I care about is where am my football club heading towards? And again, this is completely not true. When did I ever say Frank works with no spending? When did this ever come out of my mouth? If you're going to lie, Marius, you're just going to be blocked for good. I've never once said he works with no spending. He worked at a smaller club where they spent less, of course, but they spent. Stop lying. Matt, come on, because you're trolling. Signing 4 first-team players isn't good if you're just replacing them. If you're just replacing, it's not good. We didn't do what we needed. How are you not Did you go to school? Do you understand math? 4 go out, 4 come in, nothing stronger. Especially when the 4 that come in aren't as strong as the 4 that have gone. I don't understand. I don't understand how these people have gone to school and got jobs. I don't get how they don't understand how math works. It's mad. We've got people lying about what's been said, then people not understanding, right? See, this guy can just go. Just, again, another idiot. Just idiots everywhere. Guys, are we ever going to build? Like, or are we going to have to accept now we are a very average football club? That's the question that I've got for the board. So for the person that said, you don't see me calling out the board, that's exactly what I've been doing for 25 years. We need to find a solution. We need to find a plan. That's their job. That's why they are paid millions of pounds a year. And Macaulay, absolutely. Thank God for sensible people. Thank God for sensible people. It was a reactive window. It was a reactive. Oh my God, Madison's got injured. Right, Simmons. Oh my God, Solanke got injured. Mawani. The only thing proactive about it was Kudus. And then Paulinho on loan. That's not the window of a Champions League football club. That's not the window of a team with aspirations. That's madness. It was very reactive. We're always reactive. This is what I've said, Macaulay, right? I want to see right now in this transfer window, what have they been working towards? What's the plan? What's the plan? What's the plan? So when we get to the first week of the window, Have the bids gone in because we were proactive and we have a plan? Or are we just going to wait for players to become available at the end of the window and we're reactive? Now, if you keep being reactive as a football club, you're never going to improve because it shows there's no plan and it's hit and hope. All I've asked for years and years and years and years at this football club is a plan. And that's why I truly thought when they brought Frank in the summer, at the same time as changing the whole club, there would be a plan. My bad for thinking they would implement a plan because the transfer window showed me that they had no plan. It's like they had plan A, but when plan A didn't work, i.e. Gibbs, White and Eze, when that doesn't work, oh, God, look, right, anyone who keeps going back to this is so boring. Go away. Jim is now blocked. Go away. It is so boring. Guys, just because it's not working now doesn't mean I was wrong about Ange, right? Two things can be true at once. This is ridiculous. I don't get it. We all watch football every week. We all see how many players you're going to need to cope with Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues and all these things. Yet we sit here and don't understand that we needed to build a squad. And this nonsense, I'll call it out. When Lubo says to me, you can't do everything in one window. Who said doing everything in one window? But get the bare minimum in one window. Get the bare minimum you need in one window. And again, this goes to show somebody who doesn't understand football. Again, so we think Frank is the biggest problem at Spurs right now. So it's not that we've been shit for years. It's not that we're on a downward trend for the last 3, 4, 5 years. It's one man. Let that sink in. When that next manager comes in, some people are going to have a shock. Some people are going to have a real shock because the data hasn't lied for years. The data has not lied for years. We're doing that. We're doing that. It doesn't matter how many people want to be really clever and spin it. When you lose 42 games in 83, that's a worry. That's a real worry. And people still go, no, it's not. It's a good squad. Is it? Is it a good squad? Is it a good squad? Based on what? When I ask that question of people, I can't ever get a straight answer. I get loads of ifs, buts, and maybes. When has this team or this group of players shown it's a good squad? When? They've lost more games than they've won in the last 3 years. When have they ever shown it's a good squad? I don't really know what to say. If the level of our debate is Ange v Frank, then we're in trouble as a football club, aren't we? If this is what we're doing, judging Ange versus Frank, Frank versus Ange, doesn't that show how low we've dropped as a football club and how low our standards are? But so many people seem content with the squad. So many people think a new manager rocks up and makes these midfielders better. I don't see it. I don't see it. We've watched these players for years. I don't see what people are seeing in them. Now I'm seeing people go, oh, yeah, but Brennan Johnson's not been playing. Is that where we're at? Is that where we're at? But no, this team didn't finish fifth, did it? A team with Son, Maddison, Kulu, right? Højbjerg. That team finished fifth, right? Not this team. There's a big difference. Basuma was in that team. There's a big difference. I don't understand how people can't see. This is not the same forward line. This is not the same midfield other than Bentancur. No, this team did not finish fifth. No, I don't know how you don't get that. Gray, Bergvall, Yeah, Paulinho, Simmons, Kudus, Solanke, they weren't in the team that finished 5th. I don't understand how people don't get that. My worry about the human race is that people say things and think it's a fact. Mate, come on and debate me. You won't. There's no revisionism. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying, Matt. Listen to what I'm saying. I know you're not the brightest. There's no revisionism. I said it in the summer. You can't just replace players. You've got to build a squad. How are you not getting this? You keep saying stupid shit, right? You're getting blocked once and for all if you don't come on right now. If you come on right now, I'll respect you. But you shit yourself, then you go in the chat and you just lie. The team that finished 5th played once a week and had Son, Madison, Kulu, right? It had Højbjerg, right? This is not the same team. That team had goal scorers and played once a week. That was also 2.5 years ago. What are we doing? This was 2.5 years ago. Do people not think? Have you got a way of getting the link to him? He won't. He'll shit himself because he can't come on. He doesn't show his face either because he's embarrassed. I just don't understand. I've said to people, I've said so many times to people, fine, we can sack Thomas Frank, fine. But what happens when it stays the same? How are people not understanding that we need better players? I genuinely don't get that. Other fan bases don't get it. They look at our squad and go, yeah, this squad isn't that good. Our fans go, no, nothing wrong with the squad. There is everything wrong with this squad. We've left ourselves with those midfielders to play in 4 competitions. We've left ourselves with Tell and Odeberg as the only left wingers for 4 competitions. We've got 1 right winger in Kudus, 1 right winger in the squad. Our strikers are Mawani, who doesn't score, and Richarlison, who's a terrible footballer. We have not 1 left back at the club. We have not 1 right back at the club. And our goalkeepers are Vicario and Kinski. Who is looking at that? Who is looking at that really and going, this team is good? Who is looking at that and going, this has been put together well? Who? I don't get it. I don't get it. We're seeing the same thing year in, year out. And no one seems to see the problem. Not no one, but so many don't seem to see the problem. This isn't about a manager or a player. The whole thing is a mess. The whole thing is a mess. And this is the key thing as well. Since we finished 5th, Villa strengthened, City strengthened, Arsenal strengthened, Chelsea strengthened, Newcastle strengthened, Man United strengthened. We've not strengthened. We lost Son, didn't replace. We've not strengthened. Vicario is not strengthening. Bergvall, Grand Sar is not strengthening. Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, Solanke, Tell, Odeberg is not strengthening. Those other clubs that have gone above us, they don't buy these footballers. If they do, they've got 1 maybe, but they're not buying. We're buying them in bulk. We buy these players in bulk. And then we wonder what's happening. We buy these players in bulk, and then we wonder what's happening. No one can explain to me What in this squad is good enough to be where fans want to be? So when I've got people like Marios going, we should be fourth, explain to me why. Explain what about this squad says we should be top four. Explain what about this squad says we should be competing. Explain about this squad that any of the other clubs in that top 6 or 7 would look at and go, we need that. No one can explain it to me because it's words. I'm using facts and evidence and data from the last 3, 4, 5 years to show that no matter who the manager is, no matter which manager we want to back or not, nothing's changing at this football club. Nothing. If you buy worse players than you had when you were successful, you're not going to be as good. This is really obvious stuff. This is really obvious stuff. Why have Arsenal got better over the last 3 or 4 years? Right? Why have Arsenal got better over the last 3 or 4 years? Well, they've got better over the last 3 or 4 years because they've bought better footballers. This isn't rocket science. Football isn't a tough math equation. If you buy better footballers, it doesn't matter whether you've got Frank Spencer in charge or Pep Guardiola, you're going to do better. But if you keep buying average footballers, you are going to be average. Now, I've got a guy who wants to come on who, to be fair to him, he sent me a donation, so thank you for that into the Buy Me a Coffee. He's asked for the link. All I will ask, Callum, before I bring you on, please, no abuse, no swearing. Please keep it clean. That's all I ask, yeah? Can you acknowledge that? Just with a bit of a thumbs up? You acknowledge that? Cool. Fair play. So unlike Matt, fair play to Callum. He said, right, you asked me to come on. I sent him the link. Fair play to you. Much respect. How are you?
How you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. How are you and where are you? You out and about?
No, I'm just out for breakfast, man. Just a little one in the morning, you know what I mean?
Nice.
But
nice.
yeah, go on. So what did you want to say, bro? Because you wanted me on like a few weeks ago.
Oh, mate, I weeks ago, God knows, mate. Do you know how many people I speak to on a daily basis?
Nah,
So what you wanted the link. So what did you want to say?
Nah, just why are you so sensitive when it comes to Frank? Without me being rude or anything like that, like why are you so sensitive? Like you tiring people out, you blocking people, everything, just because they have an opinion. You know what I mean? Everyone's got
Do
a right
you
to their
believe
own
that's
opinion.
why I do it? Do you believe I only block people out on an opinion?
I do. You said I abused you and everything, but I don't know where that comes from.
Mate, do you know what? Listen, when you're a YouTuber, you see patterns of behavior from people and you see how they talk, right? So you guys, for example, look at this troll Matt in the chat. He'll go, I've only talked football, right? I see a pattern of behavior.
Sorry, do you mind if I smoke a cigarette? Is that right?
Do what you got to do. Right? Time over time, where he'll dig, he'll prod, he'll lie about me, right? And then people go, yeah, but it's just an opinion. Like, yeah, but that's not an opinion when you prod and you probe and you lie, right? I'm not sensitive for Frank. I can't say it more times. If I wake up tomorrow morning and Frank is sacked, I don't give a shit, right?
Fair enough.
But people seem unable to hear the rest of that sentence, which is, but what next? But what's the plan? I don't care. Thomas Frank, do you know how much money Thomas Frank gets if he gets sacked this month?
Yeah, go on.
Right? £12.5 million. I am not in any way bothered. If I was Thomas Frank, I would want to be sacked. I would want my £12.5 million. I would go and have 6 months off.
What do you think?
About what?
Thomas Frank.
I think about Thomas Frank is that when we got him in, we know he's someone that needs time to build and grow and that he won't be given that time here. And because of that, he's struggling. So we've either hired someone we want to build or not. If we don't want them to build, he's completely the wrong man and he's not good enough. If we want him to build, we've got to stick with him and we'll see if he's good enough.
Fair play. But I'll go back to when we lost 4-1 to Chelsea. We were down to 9 men.
Yep.
And I remember you saying that's the point where you was Andrew out, right?
There's a lot of people that have said this. This is the point where I'm not
point scoring.
No,
I'm
it's
just
cool. It's
going
cool.
back to
This
what you
is the
said.
point where my true worry about Ange went up, because Celtic friends of mine had told me in the summer that it don't matter what happens with this guy, he will never shut up shop. He will never do the sensible thing. It will always be gung ho. Now, some people think that's brave, Callum. For me, I think it's suicidal. But yeah, that was when I started to have my real concerns over Ange. Yeah.
So, what makes you think Frank's the manager to do it?
I've never said I think Frank is the manager, because for me, I think Spurs need some stability, and I think Frank could be the guy for the stability. But right now, let me ask you a question, Callum, right? When people say that, Frank is the right manager for what? Finish the sentence. Frank is the right manager for what?
Like a Pochettino-esque, basically. Project.
Well,
5 years, 4 years, 5 years, take us forward. That type of manager.
Well, the problem I've got with that, Callum, is I don't think any manager is the right manager for the Pochettino-esque project, because Spurs aren't in a project. We use the word project. We don't actually seem to have a plan. And that's my problem with it. And that's the only reason why. Listen, in an ideal world, do you think, Callum, right, in an ideal world, if you turn around and said, Savva, right, which manager do you want to manage Tottenham Hotspur, that Thomas Frank is anywhere near the top of the list for me to go, that's my number one choice?
So why do you defend him so much, bro? That's my question.
So, because
You
where
defend
are
him
Spurs
so
right
much.
now? Callum, what are Spurs? Where are Spurs? Right?
Yeah, but we're better than what? What were we, 14th?
We are
14th?
14th. Yeah. We are
Yeah,
14th.
we're better than 14th squad-wise. Come on.
Sure. Okay. So then let me point you back towards this, right? If we win at the weekend, you can go to 9th. Are we better than 9th? Because for the last 2 years, Callum, our average is 15. So why are we better than 14th?
It's not, yeah, but you're taking out the Europa League.
I'm not. I'm talking about the Premier League. When you're saying I'm taking out the Europa League, Tottenham Hotspur is a football club that play in the Premier League and in Europe. We can't just go, oh yeah, but this because of this. Again, we want to talk like
we're the performances.
I'm not happy with the performances. But what I said at the beginning of the season, I don't expect the performance to be good because I don't rate the footballers. You name me. And
God, mate. God.
Okay, so you name me, right? You look at these other clubs that play. I don't think there's too many clubs that actually play good football, by the way. But you look at these clubs that control games. What have they all got in midfield compared to what we've got in midfield? Is huge. Is massive. We don't have anyone who can control a game. We don't have anybody that can dictate a tempo. Everything we do is reactive, is reactionary, is transitional. We don't actually do anything in terms of buying players that control games of football.
But after the summer, everyone was raving on about we had a brilliant summer, no? Transfer window.
Did you hear me raving on about it being a brilliant summer, or was I cussing?
Was you not excited getting Simmons,
No.
getting Mawani?
No. But it's not about being excited to get Simmons. I like Simmons. I like Simmons, and yeah, I think Simmons will be a very good footballer. But
yeah,
as I said throughout the summer camp, this is where if people listen to me properly, they'll actually understand what I say. Right? There's a difference between saying good signing that and actually buying what we need. And for years, since I don't know how many years I can say this when I have to keep repeating myself. Since Moussa Dembele left this football club, Spurs have not signed any midfielders that can control a game, right? And my biggest thing about football is if you don't control the game in the engine room, the midfield, you are never going to be a good football team. And we have not been a good football team since that. And I mean a consistently good football team. We've had moments, we've had ups and downs, but all of our best football, I'm sure you would agree with this, all of our best football in the last 6 years has been when we're just flying forward and it's hectic. Right? Whether it was the counter-attacking with Conte, so we just went, right, Kulu, Son, Kane, right? Whether it was Ange and flying forward. None of our football in the last 6 years has been controlled. Spurs are in control. We manage the flow of the game because we don't have that anymore. We had Modric, Carrick, Dembele. Now we've got Bentancurs and Grays and Bergvall. Mate, we're miles off it. So I didn't expect great football.
Fair enough.
I think there's so much work to do, Callum.
I'll take you back to the Super Cup, for example. Yeah,
Sure.
2-0 up, 85th minute. Yeah, see the
Sure.
game out. He makes, I can't remember the substitutions. I ain't got it in front of me, but he
Sure.
makes two stupid substitutions. Cost us the
Sure.
game. That was Conte. That was Mourinho. That was Poch. Any of them like caliber of managers would have seen it out, and it got unnoticed because it's like Frank, give him time first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, first
You
and
don't
foremost,
agree?
that was Callum. Callum, hang on. First and foremost, that was his first competitive game as a Spurs manager. Second of all, when we're saying Conte, Jose, Poch will see it out, if we're just going to lie, then we've got to be really careful, because how many games did we see where Conte, Jose,
Not
and
like
Poch? But it is. Hang on, Poch. How many games could Poch not see out? How many games
Mate,
did
it
Conte
was the
and
85th
Jose?
minute.
Hang on. Right? How many games did those lot lose where they couldn't see it out? What you're remembering is you're only remembering it now because Frank's the manager now. If you go back, we had games under Jose where we were 3-0 up and drew
Yeah, West
3-all.
Ham, yeah.
Right? We had games under Conte where we were 2-0 up and lost 3-2. Mate, the revisionism is scary, right?
You know what it is? I just don't rate him as a manager, bro. I think what's the best he done for Brentford? Finishing 10th? Something like
Sure.
that. He's never won
Brentford
a trophy. No, but I'm saying he's never won a trophy in his career. Do you know
Sure.
what I mean? I don't rate him as a manager. It's pragmatic football. It's
That's
boring.
fine.
It's
I'm
the
not telling
Chelsea
you to rate
game.
him as a manager, Callum. I'm not.
Mm,
But when we're talking about what's he won in his career, cool, right? Pochettino, everyone raves about. What had Pochettino won in his career, right? Jose and Conte have won a shed load. What did they win at Spurs, right?
yeah, but at least with Poch, you could see the football. You could see there was something doing. It wasn't his fault that he didn't get backed. Do you know what I mean?
Understood. But when Poch came in for the first 5 months, you couldn't see the football and it wasn't good. It was shit.
Yeah, because we had a shit team. Yeah, like Andros Townsend and all them man there. We ended up selling them, getting them all out, and then boom.
Right. Which is similar to where we are now. We don't have a good team now, and the manager is 4 or 5 months into his stay. I'm not saying Frank will work, but everything you're saying here is revisionism on what. When people talk about Poch, they talk about Poch in his peak. They don't talk about the first year where he had loads of work to do, right? They don't talk about that. They talk about, under Poch, it was amazing. First year, he nearly got sacked because it wasn't good, right? It wasn't. And I'm not defending Frank. Frank will go. I can't say this more times, Callum. Frank is going to get sacked. If I say this loudly for everyone at the back, yes, he's going to get sacked sooner rather than later. Of course he is. It's what we do. He will get sacked. My issue, and Callum, I can't keep saying this while I'm laughing. I don't care if Thomas Frank is sacked, right? Let me tell you a little secret.
You know what it seems like? It just seems like you're backing Frank again.
No.
This is why.
My point is this, right? If you bring a manager in, I would at least like to see the manager have a couple of windows and get some players in of their own, so I can go, yeah, that was
really
terrible.
Trust him in January?
Didn't work. I don't think it's about trusting
give him 100. Give him 100 mil. Do you really trust him?
I don't trust Spurs. When you're saying trust Frank's not the one doing the deals. Do you trust? I'll throw it back to you.
End of the day, the players you want. Do I trust Spurs?
Is it?
Do I trust Spurs? Oh, we had a good window, just gone. We had a good window, just gone. Come on. You window.
It wasn't a shit window, but it was a very reactive window with no real plan in place, right? One loan, right? Let's be fair. The transfer window is open for 3 months? Yeah. And up until the last week of the window, Spurs had done 1 signing and 1 loan. If we're saying that's a good summer, then we are in trouble as a football club, Callum. Right?
Well, we signed 4 starters, mate. Paulinho, whatever his name is.
Sure.
Kudos, Simmons,
and they replaced 4 players. We didn't add to the squad. We didn't build. It was literally right. Why was Xavi Simmons signed?
I don't know. We didn't get Eze, innit?
But why did we go after Eze? Why did we go after Simmons? Because James Maddison got an ACL. If James Maddison hadn't have got that ACL, Spurs aren't buying another number 10. You know it. I know it. We all know it. We all know it.
Done.
That's not what we do. We do know that. That's not what Spurs do. When have we ever done that? But, oh my, so, okay, give me an example when we've done that. You tell me when we've had a top player in a position and we've gone and bought another one in that position.
Would you class Maddison as a top player?
I think Maddison's a top footballer, yeah.
I'd say he's inconsistent.
Yeah, but he's been one of the best 5 or 6 playmakers in the country for 7 seasons. So what statistically, you can roll, you can do the thing with your eyes.
No, fair. How many games he played for England?
Well, what do you mean? That's like saying Phil Foden's not a top player because he doesn't get in above Cole Palmer. But Phil Foden's a top footballer, right?
What do you mean? What do you mean? He's in the England squad. Madison's never really been in the England squad.
So that means he's not a
not
top
taken
player.
Away from his ability. No, but he's not top. He's not a top player. No,
okay, so
he's decent.
Okay,
he's a good player.
Right. So look at that. This isn't a top footballer. No, have a look at those. Look at those stats. Sorry, this is not a top footballer in the Premier League. That's 7 years. Look at those ranks. Look at those ranks. You're telling me he's not a top footballer?
Yeah, go on.
Right. So I'll ask again. You tell me, right? This is what I love. Our fans seem to have this selective memory of things that never happened, right? You're telling me if James Maddison didn't get that ACL, that Spurs would have gone and spent 50 million on Xavi Simons? Do we truly believe that? Do you really believe that in your heart of hearts?
Possible.
Okay, right. Yeah, it's possible.
It's possible.
But now I'm asking, tell me a time. Look, Spurs didn't even replace Son, let alone buying a player to compete.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. The Sonny decision was disgusting. I would have kept him for another year. I agree with that.
Look, I would say this, right? We're so focused on who's right, who's wrong, this manager, that manager, this director of football, that director of football. My bigger issue, Callum, right now is the football club, right? And I don't have a clue what we're doing, where we're going, and what the plan
in terms of Enoch, in terms of what?
The whole thing. I think the whole thing is a shit show. The whole thing is a mess. You think about it, right? So they ripped up everything in the summer and started again, right? It looks like the assistant manager's going to go. And again, that's not really Spurs' fault. He's getting a job opportunity. He's going to go and do that. But that's a change. It looks like Paratici's going to go. That looks like another change.
Yeah.
Fans want the manager out after 4 months. That's another change. It's just constant, round and round in circles. And a new manager comes in, Callum. This is my point, right? As I've said to you, Thomas Frank can go. I don't care. I don't know these multimillionaires. I don't feel sorry for them. Fine, goes. Everyone's now got a different idea, Callum, of who comes in and why they change things. You and I both know a new manager will come in with this squad. We both know this, Callum, deep down, right? A new manager will come in. We'll see an immediate uplift for the first 3, 4, 5, 6 games. And then after the hype has all died down, we will go back to what we have been for years, which is an average group of players who lose a lot of games.
What do we do then? Do we stick with this manager? Because under this manager,
say that.
No, wait, under this manager, bro, in what, 20-something years, 25 years supporting this club, under this manager, I've seen the worst 2 performances in terms of Chelsea and in terms of Arsenal. The way that we went to the Emirates was disgusting. We didn't even lay a glove on them. I could tell the play before, but bro, you have Vicario taking 3 kicks from the halfway line, lumping it into the box at 0-0. Sure. And in the Chelsea game, it speaks for itself. But just look at the XG and everything else. The Forest game, even the games we won. So, for example, like Leeds, we won 2-1 and everything. Both shots with deflections. I just think it's lucky. I just think it's lucky, and I don't rate the manager.
Fine,
I don't.
And I'm not. But Callum, I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I've not sat here and tried to convince.
No, I know you're not. I'm just getting my opinion.
Sure.
Across.
So I'm asking you then. Let's assume, right? Okay. Hypothetical. I love this game. Hypothetical.
I know you're going to ask me. Go on.
Thomas Frank gets sacked right now, right? Thomas Frank gets sacked right now. We will lose our mind. I'll be honest with you, Callum. If Thomas Frank gets sacked right now, do you know how much money I'll make on YouTube? Right? Everyone who thinks it's going to
Yeah.
bother me, do you know how much money I'll make on YouTube over the next week?
Yeah, I
Thomas
know
Frank
the haters
back,
come
right?
in when we're losing. I
Right,
know.
okay.
Yeah.
So Thomas Frank goes, we all have our Spurs, we're shit, same old, blah blah blah. Yeah, he's gone, blah, blah. Whatever the opinion is. Right, the dust settles. Right, who's the manager coming in, Callum, and why? And what do they do?
For me, as much as I want him out and everything else, I'll probably be keeping to the end of the season. Even though I think football's dreadful and everything, I'll keep him to the end of the season. And I know a lot of people are going to be saying move on, da. But after the World Cup, he's definitely not going to stay with the USA. I'll get Poch back.
You get Poch back.
That's me.
Okay.
That's
So-
me. I'm not living in a fairy tale. I just
Yep.
think like that's the best suited for us. He can't work under Levy. Levy's not there no more. Boom. That's what I would do.
So I half agree with you, right? And what I've never said is don't sack him. What I'm saying is if you sack him, have a plan. That's all I've said. If you sack him, have a plan. And the problem is mid-season, it's really difficult to have that plan because if he goes, you're getting rid of him plus all of his backroom staff, right? So we're talking about a lot of money, which again, not my money, don't give a shit. But I'm guessing that the powers that be will care because it's a lot of millions of pounds, right?
Yeah.
And you're turning around, and again, let's assume it happens today, which would be really harsh, wouldn't it? 2 days before Christmas. But let's say he gets sacked today.
Hopefully.
On Christmas
Sounds
Eve,
bland.
right? On Christmas Eve, you are ringing round agents of managers going, does he want to come to Spurs? What do you mean? It's December. Does he want to come? Well, hang on, no,
I think the season's written off though. The Newcastle game done it for me.
Possibly.
In
But
the League Cup, how are you not going to start Kudos and Colomwani and Van der Ven? You know what I mean? There's a cup there to be won. You could have went through to the quarterfinals. Another trophy. Do you know what I mean? And he just completely.
Callum, you know why? Callum, you know why?
Why?
But this goes back down to what I was arguing about with that Matt. This is the problem. If you don't build a squad, you can't just play everybody every 3 days. Mickey Van der Ven.
I get you, but I remember you. Go on, bro.
So Mickey Van der Ven, Frank came out before that game, didn't he? And he said Mickey Van der Ven's played 4 games in 10 days. Like he can't play every 3 days. He's got bad hamstrings. You know, Kudus has been running to the ground already because you know what we didn't do, Callum? Spurs don't have another right winger. Now, when I watch Arsenal, Callum, you know what they've been able to do this year that they've not been able to do for years in the past?
Squad.
They've been able to rest Saka in games
Yeah.
and put Madueke there, right? So they give him a bit of rest. What we've done, no other right winger. So when he doesn't play, we have to play Johnson. Centre halves, right? We didn't buy another left-sided centre half, which means now that Danso or Dragosin have to go to the left. As I said, if you don't build a squad, this is what happens. You have to rotate, and the players coming in aren't good. And this is what we're finding.
My problem with that, and it's nothing personal against you, but my problem with that is when I was watching your channel just before that Newcastle game, the lineup come out and everything, you were saying everyone was going nuts. You were saying we've got Chelsea on the weekend. That's the rest of few players. Sure. Look at that Chelsea game.
Sure,
it was disgusting. It was disgusting.
Course.
So we've gone out of the cup for no reason.
But one doesn't create the other. Just because we were shit against Chelsea didn't mean that Van der Ven didn't need a rest against Newcastle, right? Like it's not yin and yang. It's not one creates the other. Look, I'm not excusing it. But my biggest issue, and it's always been my biggest issue, we can talk about Ange, we can talk about Frank, we can talk about Jose Conte. My biggest issue is we never ever build a squad. We didn't under Poch. We had a, I think you'll agree, we had a really good 11 under Poch.
Yeah.
And we didn't build a squad, right?
100%.
Then Jose comes in, the squad gets worse, but you know what? Jose found a way with Kane and Son to get the best out of them that kept us up, right? Conte, Kane and Son keeps up there. Problem is now, Callum, for me, I think we're all getting the answer to the question that we were asking for years. And the question that none of us wanted to ask, but we were all asking was, what happens when Kane and Son leave this football club together? Right?
Yeah.
And right now, whoever the manager is, we are seeing this is the squad. So I'm all for changing the manager. Huh?
How long do you give Frank to? Like Palace? He loses at Palace?
As I said,
Still keep him?
but Callum, this is the point. You can sack him after Palace. I'm cool with that. What's the plan? Who comes in?
Deep down. You, deep down.
But
Yourself, your own
that's
opinion.
not. But Callum, my opinion is if Tottenham Hotspur can say, right, we're sacking him after Crystal Palace and we've got X manager lined up, fine, do it. But if it is we're sacking him with no one in mind, no good manager is available to come to the club, what are we doing then? Are we just saying that one of the coaches takes over for a few, like, I don't know.
So say for example we finish 10th, yeah, in the league. Finish 10th. No cups, nothing. Finish 10th. Crash out of the Champions League.
Yeah.
What would be your standpoint then?
My standpoint would be three things. The first thing I would look at is go, right, what did we give him in January? Second of all, how did the second half of the season go? Were performances improving? Were points improving? Did we start to look better? And the third thing I would look at is, okay, cool.
10th,
Sure. But the problem is I don't think we're massively better than 10th. That's the problem. I don't think we are. I think when Maddison and Kulu are fit, I would say, yeah, we are 6th to 8th. I think without their quality, I don't think we're much better than a mid-table team. And this is the problem when you're asking me. However, the third point I was going to make there is if the answer to question 1 and 2 is it's not been good enough, fine, sack him, but make sure you're bringing in the right manager, right? Like, I don't know what that looks like. Callum, I think the difficulty we all have, tell me if you agree with me on this one, right? I think the difficulty we all have is when we talk about so-and-so isn't the right manager, we need to bring in the right manager. I think the problem that I've got is we've had so many managers in such a short space of time that I don't think any of us actually know. It's impossible to know what the right manager actually means anymore at this football club. It means different to you, to me, to the chat. Like, who is the right manager? I don't know.
Mate, I just want to see. I want trophies as well, but minimum, I want to see decent football.
Sure, me too. But to play decent football,
it's been diabolical, bro.
Sure,
diabolical.
But when did we last play good football?
I'm not an Ange lover, but even under Ange, you know what I mean? We went for it. I remember when we lost 4-1 to Chelsea.
Right. So we're confusing two things here, aren't we? So we're confusing two things, aren't we, Callum? There's a difference between playing good football and just being gung-ho and going for it. I'm talking about, we can all agree that under Harry Redknapp and Pochettino, we played good football. That, for me, is good football, right?
You don't think we played decent football under Ange?
I think we played wide open gung-ho football, hence the reason why we would lose games 6-3 and 4-0 and 5-0. Like, there's a difference. If you want to be a good football team that play whatever good football means to you, I want to see that too, Callum. I want to see that too. I don't think you're going to see that football when your midfielders are Bentancur, Bergvall, Sarr.
Yeah, but then you can say that. But then last season at the Emirates, we played. Who did we start at centre back? Victor Goosen and Archie Gray. We lost 2-1, and we was putting up a fight. To be fair, this season, bloody hell. Apart from that Richarlison goal,
you know what I mean? By one game, because I can do that.
No, I'm not.
Let me throw your theory back at you. So this is the same thing. Look at the weekend. Right, that game last season, Liverpool came and scored 6 past us. Right, Liverpool ripped us apart. This weekend we put up a fight.
Mate, that game was terrible, and it's not the same Liverpool that it was. You know what I mean?
But notice, have you noticed? Whenever it's something to defend Spurs, there's an excuse. When it's something to knock them,
it's not an excuse. At the end of the day, I love this. End of the day, I love the club. You know what I mean? I want him to do well. I'd love Thomas Frank to do well, but just what I've seen of him and everything else, and you know what? It's not even just that. It's these little comments he makes, little slide digs. So he had a little digger Ange about finishing 17th. Mate, who are you? You won a European trophy. And then he had a dig at Eze just before the North London derby. Who's Eze? My guy scored a hat trick. Sure. As a manager, you got to know. You know what I'm trying to say?
Sure, but Callum, the problem is with this, and I don't disagree with you, but the problem is with this. Everyone had their gripes with Ange for things he said and did. Everyone had their gripes with Jose
But he
for
proved
things.
it though.
Hang
Said,
on, hang on. But this is the point. Everybody can find any reason under any manager for things they said, things they've done. Look, do I want to see Spurs play really good football? Yes. Right? I've wanted that for years. I have not seen it since Pochettino. Right? As I said, under Pochettino, Tottenham had people like Dembele, Ericsson, Ali, Kane, all capable of playing really good football. Walker, Rose, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. I look at this squad now and go, I don't know who it is I'm expecting to play really good football. This for me is a really poor squad.
Under Poch, was any of them made players before?
Yeah, but that's not an exact science, is it? That's not an exact science.
It wasn't,
Christian
right?
Eriksen. Well, hang on. When you're saying there wasn't, but you've got to have that about you as a player. So Moussa Dembele was a senior pro when he joined Tottenham Hotspur. He was a senior pro. So was Vertonghen.
Yeah, he's playing strike for Fulham.
Hang on. So was Alderweireld. So was Hugo Lloris, right? Sonny had a few seasons in Germany. But yes, Dele Alli wasn't. You could say that, well, Wanyama was as well. Dele Alli wasn't. Dyer wasn't.
Rose.
Walker and Rosie developed. But the problem is you've still got to have that in your locker to be able to play the way that he played. And what he did brilliantly was, if you look at the spine of the team, which is what every team needs to play good football, they were the senior pros other than Harry Kane. That spine of that team was senior pros other than Harry Kane, who he developed, right?
I think all the players you just mentioned, their prime as a Tottenham. I don't think before that they were top.
They were what? Sorry?
You know what I mean? All the players you just mentioned, I don't think there was at Tottenham. That's when that was their prime, basically. You know what I'm saying?
But
before that, I don't think they were top level players.
So I'm not doubting that though. We're talking about two. You're not listening to me. We're talking about two different things.
But my question.
Just because that team was capable of being coached and molded into that by Poch doesn't mean this team is. Who are you looking at in this team and going?
What I'm trying to say is, do you think Frank is capable of basically doing a Poch? Almost.
I don't think Poch is capable of doing a Poch anymore. I've not seen anything from Poch since he left Spurs to say that he's that guy. This is the problem. Poch, sometimes right time, right place, right players, right manager, right.
I'm just using him as an example, by the way. I'm not just saying.
I get it. Poch. Callum, I can't keep saying it, right? I can't keep saying it. I'm looking at this squad. I don't see what these players are, right? I genuinely, this is what I mean. Other than James Maddison, right? I'm seeing an absolute lack of technical football IQ and ability all across this football squad, right? All across this squad. If you want to play the way Poch's teams played, first and foremost, you've got to control the midfield. Look at the midfield he had. Wanyama, Dembele. Both big, powerful, good on the ball, good in the tackle. Both didn't give the ball away. That's a good starting place. Spurs haven't built that for 6 years. So fine. As I've said to you, sack Frank, but who's going to build? Whoever comes in and builds needs better footballers. I don't know why that is such a bad thing to say.
Yeah, no, it's not. But like, what my thing is, we get better footballers now. For example, we get a few signings in January. I don't trust him with them players. I don't think he's developed anyone. I don't think he's improved massively.
You do realise players don't develop in 3 or 4 months. You do realise.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Yeah, I get you. Hold on, bro. But a lot of people were saying, we're better pragmatically, we're better defensively. I think if you compare it, I'm not sure exactly. If you compare it to the Ange's stats this time last season, well, he was better off. You know what I mean? So I just don't get the hype behind it. So I don't understand.
When people say this, first and foremost, this time last year we scored more under Ange and conceded more under Ange, right? But first and foremost, comparing his team last year to this team this year doesn't make any sense, because in the first half of last season, he had most of his first 11 available for every game, right? This time this year,
he had a big injury crisis towards the end.
Not at this time last year, he didn't. Not at this time last year. Again, so this is where when people compare, we're comparing apples and pears. We're not comparing apples and apples. For example, what would again, none of us know the answer to this. Imagine Kulu and Maddison had been available all season and Solanke. Would we be doing better? Would we have scored more goals? Would we have created more? Likelihood says yes, because they are creative footballers that score goals and get assists. So it's very difficult when we're comparing teams that aren't exactly the same. Going, yeah, he got this and he got this. Yeah, but not the same. Frank not once has had a best 11 available, has he? Not once, right? So this is why I don't do the comparing Ange to 17 games to Frank to 17 games. It's different teams. It's different lineups. It's different opposition. It's very difficult to do that.
But I think Kudos and Xavi Simons, they make up for the Kulu and Maddison.
But they don't. But look at their numbers in their career. They clearly don't. Xavi Simons is nowhere near James Maddison as a footballer yet in his career. Nowhere near it.
Yeah. He hasn't got the potential. You know what I mean?
Right. So absolutely. So what you're doing there is you're comparing whatever we think. James Maddison is a 28, 29-year-old seasoned pro, right? Who has got some of the best stats of a playmaker in the last 7 years in the Premier League. You brought in a bloke who's never played in this league, and we're comparing them after 3 or 4 months. Maddison is up there for me compared to Simons, who
I think a better manager would get more out of him. You know what I mean?
Sure, but we don't know that. Look how many players come over to this league and need time to settle. It's not again, this is why when people talk in exacts, this isn't an exact science. Kudus, love him as a footballer. He's not a goal scorer. So you haven't replaced Sonny's goals and assists because he's not that player. So my point is this. And again, it's not Ange v Frank. For me, I'm so bored of the Ange v Frank thing. My point is this, right? Is if we had the same 11 players that played the first 16, 17 games of last season, where would we be? No one knows, right? Nobody knows, Callum, because it's finger in the air stuff, right?
Yeah,
but when we're going to compare, right, even Sonny, right, who should have gone, I think we all agree it was the right time. He still scored goals and got assists last season, even when he was fading as a footballer. We didn't even replace it, mate. We haven't even replaced it.
I agreed with you on that one.
I know you did. I just look. I'm not saying you'll notice throughout all of this. I've not said Frank is the man. I'm just saying, if we want to sack him, can we have a plan? Like, would you sack him if there wasn't somebody lined up?
Like I said, I'd probably keep him to the end of the season just because I want.
Right. So why is it?
I wouldn't even mind the interim.
I'll be Frank to the end of the earth.
Because you haven't said that. That's the thing, Sav. You ain't said that, man.
If you listen to what I'm saying. If people actually listen to everything I've said, I have said that. I've said, give the guy a year, give him some transfer windows. If the results don't improve, he's going to get the sack. And that's fine. That's no problem, Callum. That's no problem. But if we're going to sack managers after one summer, I'm cool with it. Can you not see
with the football, though? The same way you was with Ange gung-ho.
Yeah, Ange's football was shit. Frank's football is shit.
Fair enough.
What? Right? Like, but Callum, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Everyone's going on as though I like the football. I said at the beginning of the summer, anyone who watched me in the summer, and you've said you did, right? I sat there and I said, I don't expect Spurs to play good football. We've not bought what we need, and I can't stand this Spurs midfield. Callum, I can't stand the group of midfielders Tottenham have got. And you know what? When I look at all the teams who are good, strong teams, they've all got one thing in common. Let's have a look at them, right? I know Newcastle haven't been amazing this season, but they've been very good for 3 or 4 years. They've got Tonali, Gomares, and Joe Linton, right? Arsenal have got Zubamendi and Rice, and before that was Partey. Chelsea have got Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo and Lavia, right? Aston Villa have got Kamara, McGinn, Onana, Tielemans, right? Liverpool have got Gravenberch, McAllister in their midfield. City have got what? Tajani Reinders, Rodri, Gonzalez. Now look at Tottenham. Now look at our midfield. It is nothing. It's nothing. Sunderland have got a better midfielder than we've got all day long in Granit Xhaka.
Oh, come on, man. We're not doing all that. Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka's a top pro.
Come on, man. He
No,
ain't doing all that. That's crazy. That's
you
crazy.
don't
He
think
was
Granit
never good at.
Xhaka's
He
been a
was never
top
good
pro?
enough at Arsenal. He was never good at Arsenal. So like, what?
He was
Come on.
never good at Arsenal,
And of course he was, bro. Most of their fan base voted him out.
mate. This is a seasoned
Facts.
pro that has got 100 on international caps, went to Bayer Leverkusen and won the league with them, played for years and years at Arsenal. Look at the impact he's had immediately going into Sunderland. Right? We
Go on,
don't have
who
a
else we
player
got
like
in
that.
the midfield?
We don't have a player like that.
But I
But
was listening to you the
Sunderland,
other day.
Sunderland
I
aren't in
was
the
watching
question.
the
Sunderland aren't
I
in
was
the
watching
question, Callum.
I was watching the watch along the other day, the Liverpool game and everything, and I was hearing you saying about Betancourt, and you was kind of singing these praises of like him sweeping up and everything else. You know what I'm saying?
But listen to what I
Pauline
say
in
though.
the midfield.
Callum, this is what
We ain't got a
infuriates
bad
me.
midfield, bro. We ain't got a bad
This is
midfield. Come on.
This is what infuriates me. You've not listened to what I said about Betancourt then. Betancourt, for me, does brilliantly at putting out fires, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is not indicative of a team that can play good football because you've got a guy that puts out fires, right? That is the defensive work. That is the doggy work. That is the hard work. If you want to be a
Yeah,
good
bet.
team, play good football, I'm not picking Betancourt in my centre mid. But you know the problem? I'm not picking Bergvall or Sarr or Gray or Basuma. This is the midfield we have built over 6 years. No one in the Premier League will want these midfielders. No one. No one will want them starting. No one.
I bet.
None of the
I
better
get you.
teams, right? So
I just think the club of our stature and everything else. I know you're saying about the midfield. I understand, but I think the club of our stature, the squad we have, I think we're better than what we are at the minute to get league
okay,
position because it's far and in between.
but,
You know what
but
I'm
yeah, but
saying?
you can't hang on. You
But
can't forget league. If we're so a club of our stature, that's us for 2 years. So there we
yeah,
go.
but then
So a club of our stature, but the
you're adding
data.
in the you're at that you're adding in the 17th. We all know towards the last 10 games of the season and sacrifice the whole league to win the Europa
So
League.
Callum,
We all
but
know that.
this is where again I do my homework as a YouTuber. You don't do your homework. You're just spitting out what you think is true.
How?
Right? I'll tell you how. Because people to go, the last 10 games. If you look at the last 4 half of seasons, every half a season has done that. With or without those last 10 Europa League games, it done that. Every half a season. Why? You do realise before the last
Wait,
10
say that
games
you're
of last
breaking up.
season,
You're breaking up, sir, bro. You're breaking up, sir. Did you
you
say?
do realise before the last 10 games of last season that everyone uses as the excuse for Callum, right? The excuse for Ange. You do realise the data showed for 4 half a seasons in a row we did that. Why? Why?
What in the league?
In the league,
I just told you prioritize the Europa League. That's why.
No, hang on. No, you're not listening to the question then. Again, you're not listening, right? Every half a season under Ange, that's 4 halves of a season. He started here, went there, then went there. They all went downhill. Why? We weren't in the Europa League the whole time. Why?
I don't know. You
Right. So this is the thing. When people keep telling me we should be better than we are, I keep hearing this. We shouldn't be 14th. Okay, cool.
Bro,
But we're only.
at the end of the day, my point is, sir. At the end of the day, my point is, like, I don't care about stats and all that rubbish. Like, I see football with my eyes and everything. I don't care about XG.
Sure. So what football you seen in 2 years that tells you we're good?
No. Wait, hold up, bro. We won a European trophy, mate.
Isn't it funny though, Callum? Hang on. Let me call you up here. Do you know how I know when fans like you go on about good
fans
football?
like me? What does that mean?
I'm about to tell you. Fans like you tell fans like me all the time. Yeah, but the football, bro. The football. Cool. How did we win the Europa League? What football did we play? 10 men behind the ball.
You mean?
Right? We played 10 men behind the ball to win the trophy. No one minded.
Yeah, once we scored. Yeah.
Once
Do that
we
all day
scored,
long.
we were awful.
Do that all day long. Bring me a trophy home. Do that all day long. I shouldn't give a damn.
Okay.
He should have.
So there we go.
Frank should have
So there
done
we
the
have it.
exact
So people
same.
don't mind boring football.
Frank should have done the exact same thing against PSG.
Look, again, I'm not going to make this a Frank v Ange thing, right?
No,
But
it's not
again,
that. It's not that. I'm just
hang on.
basically saying.
Let me finish.
Go on.
Again, yeah, our average over the last 6 seasons is 8th, right? And we are going down, down, down in every metric for the last 3-4 years, right?
Yeah.
So when people tell me, but we shouldn't be here, but we should be there, no one can show me any evidence as to why. Based on what? Everyone's got the excuse. Oh, because of the Europa League. Everyone's got the excuse, but no one's got the evidence to show why.
Say my point.
Over it, yeah.
Cool. No, bottom line is with me. I just don't think Frank's good enough, bro. I'm just
Fine.
keeping it real with you. I don't
Fine.
see us progressing with him. I don't
Sure,
like
but that
football.
doesn't change the data for the last 2-3 years, does it, Callum? That's the
Forget
point.
the data. Forget the data. I know what I'm seeing with my eyes. You know what I mean?
You
I
can't
know what I'm seeing with my eyes. It's different.
Yes, Callum. But you know the funny thing is, right? When you're saying forget the data, use your eyes. My eyes and the data have shown me that the last 2, 3, 4 years have been shit, right? Both of them have shown that we're shit, right? We're still shit now, right? And you can get rid of the manager. I've said a million times, but we can't just pretend what happened didn't happen. We can't just pretend that year on year our win ratio is getting worse. It is.
Yeah.
Year on year, our win percentage in the Premier League is getting worse. And we can't just say that's because we played a few games in the Europa League. I'm sorry. We can't just blame it for that. And I'll tell you why we can't, right? And Postecoglou last season lost 26 games of football in all competitions, right?
And you know
Why
what?
is
that does not bother me in the slightest because I was at that parade and it was worth every second.
okay?
I do not care as long as it's not relegation. If he's brought home a European trophy, I do not give a damn.
Okay, but you see the difference here. See, this is the thing. Fans don't know what they want, right? If we're saying to win a trophy, we're happy to lose 26 games and finish 17th, right? Then all of you don't complain until we're knocked out the FA Cup. See where I'm going with this?
The FA Cup, though, Sav.
No, hang on.
Sure. You know this.
I didn't say we
already
were
knocked
going
out of
to.
one cup.
Sure, I didn't say we were going to, but I'm using your logic against you, and you don't like it immediately.
Fair enough. No.
Right?
If we win the FA Cup, I'll come on in and I'll be like, fair play. I was wrong. I was wrong.
No, you don't have to.
We're not going to win the FA Cup.
But by the way, Callum, that's your theory, not mine. I don't subscribe to this theory that it's okay to lose week in, week out as long as you win a trophy. My philosophy as a football fan is I want the football club to get better, right? I don't care who the man in charge of that is. I just want the football club to get better. And there's too much point scoring. Frank, Ange, Jose, Conte, none of this bothers me, right? My point is this. How are we going to get better as a club? And I don't want to watch my club lose 22 games in a season. If Frank loses 22 games in the Premier League this season, guess what, Callum? I want him out, right? I want him out the same way I would have wanted Ange out. So when people are coming in here going, but you wanted Ange out. Yes, he lost 22 Premier League games. And you know what, Callum? If Pep Guardiola managed Spurs and lost 22 games, guess what? I'd want him out as well.
No, but my bad bringing it back up. But like I said, after that Chelsea game, I remember vividly you wanted Ange out.
No, that's not true. If you actually
that was
go
11
back
games.
Hang on. If you actually go back to that time, right? After that game, I went, this is truly worrying for me now, right? Let's see how he does if this happens again. Let's see what happens now. And from that game, he just went like that for 2 years.
Sav,
right?
You was showing the lines, mate. You was showing how open our defenses and everything.
Sure. And he never changed it. But that's my point, Callum.
Yeah.
He never changed it. Then every game I watched us play, the lines are there because he hasn't learned. He goes to Nottingham Forest, by the way, and I don't really want to talk about Ange, but he goes to Nottingham Forest, and guess what? Callum, he didn't learn. He didn't learn. And you know why Dyche is doing well at Nottingham Forest? Right? Dyche is doing well at Nottingham Forest because he's gone back to doing what worked for them. Right? If Ange had gone to Nottingham Forest and hadn't tried to be Ange, right, Forest wouldn't be in the mess they are. So there's nothing wrong with Ange wanting to be that guy. I just don't like that at my football club that we get ripped open at every game. That's only me.
I understand that. I understand that. But like, at the end of the day, I'm not an Ange fan. At the end of the day, he won a trophy in
41 defeats in 83 games. That is deep, isn't it? That's not just a manager issue. That is a club.
Let's give Frank 83 games. Jesus.
No, hang on. But this is over 2 managers. If you actually spread it back, Callum, to Conte, there's like another 9 defeats that go in here, right? For the 3rd year. So this is a deep issue at the football club. And that's what I keep trying to tell people. And everyone just wants to talk about Frank and Ange. I don't care about Frank or Ange. I don't know how many times I have to say I don't care about Frank or Ange. But this is deep. We are seeing that no matter who's in charge, Spurs are a mess. We're a mess. Why? It's got to be deeper than the manager right now, isn't it?
Bro, I got to go in a sec, but I just want to leave you with this. So what's your, bro, at the end of the day with Frank, where does he need to finish in the league for you not to want him out?
I don't think it's about where he finished in the league. It's about, I think, what we see
Well,
in the second half.
You said he finishes 17th, finishes 16th, want him out.
Look, I think if he, listen, if we're going to those extremes, I think if he finishes 17th or 16th, 15th, right? If we see, I think it depends. If they don't back him in January, we're going to finish in the bottom half of this table. If they don't back him, we are so light, right? If they do back him in January and we bring in 2 or 3 good players, I expect to see a surge up that table. However, for me, the exact position, Callum, isn't really important, whether it's 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. For me, I just want to see that we're putting the building blocks in place to be better for next year. And if we're not, I don't really care. So this is what I'm saying. Hopefully now you come away from this chat knowing I won't die on a hill for Thomas Frank. I just want to know, if you're going to sack him, can we please have a plan? Can we have a plan? And if the plan is just, for example, if the plan is just hire Xavi, fine. What's the plan to back Xavi? Right? What's the plan of the club to give him what he needs? Right? That's all I've said.
Yeah. Listen, my battery's going low and everything. I want to tap into the rest of it, so I've got to put it on charge.
Good chat.
Thanks for having me on, bro.
No, good chat. Enjoy it. It's always better when people come on. Good chat. Thank you for coming on.
Nice one, bro.
All right, take care, mate. Happy Christmas. Bye-bye. If anyone else would like to come on, feel free. I'll happily speak to people. But I like that. It's a good conversation, right? Where just 2 people going back and forwards. As I've said, and I think most of you that watch me every day know, I'm not going to die on a hill for any manager at this football club. I don't care what their name is, right? I got to the stage with Poch where I didn't want him anymore, right? But again, it wasn't just about not wanting Poch. It was, I didn't want Poch because I felt that we drained it out of him. It had got to the stage where he was no longer the Poch that we'd had for years. The club hadn't backed him. I hear people all the time say to me, but you didn't want Conte. Yeah, I didn't want Conte from the start. What's the point? He signed an 18-month contract. We were never going to give him the players he wants, right? What was the point? But people only hear what they want to hear. And then they go in chat rooms and go, oh, Savva said this. And like, no. Add the meat on the bones. I go very deep with reasons why for everything, right? Meat on the bones. Meat on the bones. As I said, for me, I think this is a very average squad. I think we are a win 1, lose 1, draw 1 football team. I think that's what we have become. The data over the last 3 years shows we have become a win 1, lose 1, draw 1 football team. And over the last 3 years, for anyone that didn't see this yesterday, our win percentage over 3 years is 39%. Our win percentage over the last 2 years is 35%. Our win percentage over the last year is 28%. This is a really worrying trend that the football club need to address. Now, if that's the manager, fine. If that's players signing, fine. If that's a new director of football, fine. But that doesn't lie. That doesn't lie. That can't just be managers. It can't just be players. Can't be just director of football. You know what I think it is? I think it's all of them. I think it's all of those things above that make us poor, right? And I know that this bit, what I'm saying now will get overlooked and everyone will just go, oh, you love Thomas Frank. No. Yeah, 28% over the last year, 28%. That's the problem, right? So, as I've said, we can sit here and, as I said, if I was too harsh on Ange, fair enough. But again, I don't want to see my team lose 22 games of football. But because I was harsh on Ange, doesn't mean Frank is the right guy at all. It's not either or. I'm harsh on Lang. I'm harsh on Paratici because I don't think this football club has got it right at all. We just never get it right. And I am completely and utterly open to changing football managers. But I'm also of the opinion nothing will change if they do not start buying better footballers. It might change in the short term. You can see what will happen already. New manager comes in, 3 or 4 games in a row, we play well, win most of them, and everyone will go, there you go. Look how good he is. And then slowly but surely it goes back to normal. Finlay, absolutely, my man. That's the point. And that's why I genuinely thought after 6 months, we might be able to stop doing the point scoring thing on YouTube channels. And we might genuinely be able to stop saying, you said this, you said this. Genuinely, I don't care what I said, what you said, what Sean said, what Stel said, what Lubo. I genuinely don't care what anyone said. All I know is it's a mess. No one's been right or wrong. It's a mess. The whole thing. Mate, 4 wins, 3 draws, 11 losses at home for the entire year. Again, but I'm led to believe that the players are good enough. I don't disagree that the managers have a lot to do with this, but, you know, Daryl, I try to put meat on the bones because I think it's so simplistic when people just want to blame one thing. And what makes me laugh is because I didn't like Ange, people go, oh, last year you didn't say about the players. Of course, I've said about the players for years. I've said about the players for years. I've said about the ownership for years. People only hear what they want to play. Sorry, they only hear what they want to hear. This isn't about I'm right, you're wrong, he's right, look at me. I don't know the answer. I'm sitting here and admitting I don't know the answer. But all I know is at the moment there is no answer. We've not seen any answer. All I know is that I keep watching these players under a number of different managers and I'm still not convinced by them. Even the ones people love. I look at Romero, right? I've heard for years under different managers, under a different manager, this guy does this, under a different man, still the same mistakes, still the same up and down performances. At what point do you go, well, maybe he's just not as good as we thought? It's okay for us, isn't it? We're always able to say the manager's not as good as we thought, or I knew the manager wasn't good, right? But for some reason, we can't seem to say it with some of the players. Right? We can't seem to say it with some of the players. Look how much Udogie is overrated. He's not done anything in a Spurs shirt for 2.5 years. But we still go, oh, Udogie, good player. Based on what? Do you know what I mean? We do this with Bergvall. Bergvall, really see that. He's really... But every time I watch him play, he's not really doing anything. And we could say this, by the way, I could go through many of the Spurs squad with this. So, for me, I've never said Frank is the guy to take us to glory. I don't think there is a guy to take us to glory, by the way. When people say that, what do you truly believe? This is the guy to win us things. We're not in that position. Maybe if we get back in the Europa League, we could be, but we're not in that position. I don't understand why the conversation can't be had about the wider picture at this football club. Because if every year the conversation is only the manager, then nothing's going to change. It might uplift a little bit. Like a new manager might come in and we go from 14th to 11th or 10th. Does that really do anything? Like, be realistic. Does that really do anything? If right now we were sitting 10th on the same amount of points, would anyone really care? Would anyone really be changing their mind? They wouldn't. They'd be saying the football's shit. This is the results to it. If we win at the weekend, we can go 9th. Is anyone really going to change their mind if we finish 9th this weekend? They're not, are they? So the 9th, the 10th, the 14th isn't really the issue. It's the micro issue, but the macro issue is how do we get better? And I see people praising Paratici. He's been here for years, off and on. He's half the problem, right? I see people praising certain players. They're part of the problem. This isn't just one thing, guys. This isn't. This isn't just one thing. And this isn't about, I know more than anyone else. We all know this. Deep down, we all know this. Deep down, we all know this. I thought, though, that summer was going to be a reset. And I truly believed they were going to back the manager. And for me, only me personally, I don't think they backed the manager in any way, shape or form. And all I've said about Frank, if he goes, he goes. But all I've said is I'd at least like to see him be allowed to build a team. And then we go, oh, this is shit or this is good. But if we don't get to that point, I'm fine with that as well. And we go again. And then what's the excuse for the new manager going to be? Does the new manager need to build a team, or are we going to say this new manager's picking up a squad that's good, or where are we going to be? Where does anyone expect a new manager to have us? Unfortunately, we've got really silly fans. You've got people like Marios that think we should be fourth, and therein lies half the problem, right? We've got fans who truly believe we should be sitting fourth in the table. And if that's the case, then you're never, ever going to be happy with anyone. So for me, this year was always about, can we stabilize, right? Whatever that means, can we stabilize? Can we back him? Can we get to this January window? See, but again, look, I get childish people like this. I haven't made an excuse. Listen, again, can all of you please tell me that I've not made any excuses for Frank? Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I've said. This is what I genuinely don't understand, how childish these idiots are. Listen to what I've said. All I would have liked to have seen is a guy get his own players, build a team, and then we go, has he done well or not? That doesn't happen. But then what are we doing with the next guy? That's not an excuse for Frank. I'm saying, what about the next guy? What about the guy after that? How is that an excuse? An excuse for what? What do you think Frank should be doing? What do you think Frank should be doing? And this is another good point. The same people that bang on about it was only Levy. Now, I've never said it's just Levy. I don't like Levy. I've never thought it's just Levy. I think there's been many issues, right? If Levy was the problem, fine. But then don't we need to see that Levy was the problem over the next few windows? Now, that doesn't automatically make Frank the right man, but don't we need some time to see that? No, mate, you're an idiot. I'll call you out. You're an idiot, Riggs. See, again, you've lied. You're another one. You lie in the chat. And if you say, I think Frank should be out the door, fine. I never said that's wrong. Listen to what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I would like at one point, I would like to see that we actually let a manager build a team and then go, yeah, it's been good or not. But at the moment, I'm judging Frank on a squad that's been built over years for other managers. So, sure, sack him. I'm going to say the same thing for the next guy. And then people will tell me I'm making excuses for that guy. I'm telling you now, I'm sitting here making a promise to you lot now. I am going to say the same thing when Frank gets sacked for the next manager, that he will need time, that he will need his own players, that he will need many transfer windows, that he will need a structure above him and a plan and a process and a project. This isn't Frank specific, but too many idiots like Riggs in the chat can only go, Frank. It's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Colin, we're going to see. What was the plan, right? We're going to see. We're going to see whether Paratici's still here, whether he's not. We're going to see what have they been working on in the background. Let's see. Now, it might be that in January, Spurs go and buy a top midfielder, a top left winger, and a top striker. And then you go, right, there you go, Thomas. 3 really good players to add to your team there. 3 really good players. Go on. Right, need to see a bit more now, don't we? We need to see you. Now, if that happens, everything changes. Does anyone believe that's going to happen? Does anyone here believe that that's going to happen in the January transfer window? Or do we believe we'll buy a couple of 19-year-old kids and again we'll be going, oh, right. So you guys tell me. There's hundreds of you in here. You guys tell me what I've said there that's wrong. I want to put the pressure on the manager. I want to give the manager the players where we go, come on, mate. You've got to, come on, show us. But right now, you've given him a striker on transfer deadline day that we didn't even want. We only got because Dominic Solanke got injured. Right? You've given him no replacement for Son. He's got no left backs really in the football club. Right? The goalkeeper's utterly shit. We've got no number 8s of note. So, fine. Do it. But do any of you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I have to. I feel like this is why I have to caveat everything I say, because you just get people in the chat that say things that aren't true. And it's really frustrating. I fully expect he's going to be sacked. I do. I fully expect it. I didn't say I would. I just fully expect it. But Mitch, so who is the guy to give the funds to? It's what I keep asking. How much is the funds? What are we allowed to buy? It's not about in my heart who I would give the funds to. I'll throw it back to you. So who is the guy to give the funds to? Was it Jose? We gave funds to him. We gave funds to Conte. We gave 400 million nearly to Ange. We gave funds to Nuno. But notice we're just saying the same thing for every manager. Is this the guy to give the funds to? Is this the guy? Is this the guy? This isn't the guy. This isn't the guy. This is... Who's the guy? No one can tell me. Who is the guy? I've seen, over the last month, I have seen Iriola's name. Right? I have seen Glasner's name. I've seen Marco Silva. I've seen Italiano. I've seen Xavi Hernandez. I've seen Holness. Right? I have just seen name, De Zerbi, name after name after name after name after name. Right? No one can actually tell me why they're the right guy, what they're going to do differently to the last 6 managers where it hasn't worked out. Because we all know that nothing's changed above. Now, the only way the club can prove to us that something has changed above is in the transfer windows. In the transfer windows, that's when we can see what's changed. You've got to ask yourself as well. You've got to ask yourselves as well. And again, we don't care about this, right? But the board have just spent £17 million to get rid of Ange and bring Frank and his staff in. To get rid of Frank and his staff now will be 12.5 million for Frank, probably another 5 million for all of his staff, right? You're looking at another 17 million pounds. That will be 34 million pounds spent in 6 months on 2 outgoings and 1 incoming. We've then got to go and get a manager and his coaching staff. So ask yourself, can that happen in December or January? If that doesn't happen, what's the options? An interim? Sure. Who? An interim? Sure. Who? Right? If you do bring in an interim, is that interim going to be given the funds? Or is that then going to be an excuse again for all the fans that excuse every window? But we couldn't. Right? We couldn't buy anyone because, we got an interim manager. So I don't disagree with most things that people say. But I look at this from a different point of view. What's the plan? What's going to change? What's to stop this being yet another merry-go-round when nothing is implemented for the long term? Right? Now, you guys don't have to agree with everything I say. But what I'm trying to do is remove the emotion of one person, one manager, one director of football, one owner. I'm trying to look at the bigger holistic picture and say, right, what are we doing? Now, I get it that we get children that aren't very mature. We get the Matts, we get the Marioses, we get the people that just say, yeah, just sack him now. Fine. But then what changes? What changes bigger picture? What changes? I'm cool with it. By the way, it doesn't really matter if I'm cool with it or not. But, when Frank gets sacked, I'll get loads of people going, gutted. Gutted, why? If they think that's the right thing to do and they've got a plan, cool, go for it. But what is the plan? And, Shim, we don't always agree, but you're right. We need quality players. This has got to stop being a manager-to-manager issue. This needs to be a quality player issue. And Danny's got it right. He said he always uses the same example, Danny. For example, he says, if you go and get, he uses Edison from Atalanta. Go and get Edison. Any manager that comes in is going to go, yeah, that's a top midfielder. No manager's going to go, yeah, I don't want him. Right? No manager's going to do that. But look, we've just got trolls that say things. Look at this. Our players are top 5 quality. Based on what? Where is the evidence? Our average for 2 years is 15th. Our average for 6 years is 8th. Where is the evidence that this squad is top 5? And again, I'll say this again, right? I'll say this again. Those fans just have such unrealistic expectations of this football club, right? That whoever comes in is now going to fail. Whoever comes in is going to fail unless they are given the world's best players to sort this out. My problem with Ange last year wasn't that we weren't top 5. I never thought we were going to be top 5, right? My problem this year isn't that we're not top 5, but listen to how our fans talk. Listen to how our fans talk. Not all of you, but we've got fans like that. Genuinely look at this squad and go, yeah, top 5. Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle, Man United, Brighton, like all these clubs. Why are we top 5? Why? No one can explain why. So when people like that say those things, notice that they say them, and then I ask why, and then I just can't get an answer because they're not intelligent enough. You know why? Because they know they're just trolling. When you looked at Poch's team, you went, God, this is top 5, this is top 4. Yeah, quality all over the pitch. Not a deep squad, quality all over the pitch. Now I look at the squad and go, what's top 5 about it? I'll tell you what, let's ask the question, shall we? I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the league table. By the way, the top five now are the best 5 teams in the country and will be top 5. And as we said, right, as I've said many times, cream rises to the top, right? That top 5 there, not in any particular order, is the best 5 squads in this country, right? They are the best 5 squads in this country by a country mile. The cream rises to the top, right? Those 5, I will bet my bottom dollar, are the top 5 this season. Not in that order, but that 5 will be the top 5, right? Again, you're just a troll. See you later. You're going. See you later. I can't be dealing with trolls. I can't be dealing with idiots anymore. I can't, right? So here's a question for you. How many of Spurs' squad get in to Liverpool, Chelsea, Villa, City, and Arsenal? If we're just talking about the top 5, how many? Hardly any, right? Hardly any. But we should be top 5. We don't even have a left bloody winger in the team, and we should be top 5. It's truly crazy. Now, football is a game of opinions, right? Football is a game of opinions. But there's got to be some evidence at some stage, right? There has to be, when people say things like, this squad should be top 5. Cool, why? There has to be, give me something. Give me the answer. And isn't it funny how most of you realize, yeah, but this isn't top 5. Don't try. But the same trolls, they can't quite get it. Where's Marius? He's a bit of an idiot, isn't he? We should be top 4 or 5. Why? Because Van der Ven said so. Oh, good. Oh, good. Van der Ven said it. It must be true. Well, Ange said last year we should be competing for the title. Didn't make it true, does it? Doesn't make it true because a player or a manager said it. Look, we are Jordan, they don't answer my question. They can't answer it. Jordan. See, again, somebody again who just lies. I call them trolls because they say things, I then call them out and I get no response, right? That person came on and said, top 5 squad. I asked why. Because our squad is better than every... No, that's not an answer. Why? Who? I think there are 3 or 4 I could argue get into those squads. 3 or 4 I could argue. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know where these quality players are that people are seeing. For 6 years, we've averaged 8th. For 2 years, we're averaging 15th. The trend is going that way, right? Please, can we stop this over-egging of our players? Van der Ven is one I would say would get into the squads, right? I think Romero gets into the squads, but I'm not sure he gets into all the teams because he's too irrational. I think Maddison at a push, if it was fit, could get into the squads. I don't think he starts. Other than that, I don't see who does right now. It doesn't mean some of our players can't grow into that. But right now, I can't see who else does. Our fullbacks are not good enough to play for any of those 5 teams. Our goalkeeper isn't good enough to play for any of those teams in the top 10. Our strikers aren't good enough to play for any of those 5 teams. Kudus maybe as a squad option for those 5, maybe. None of our centre mids are good enough to play for those teams. None of our left wingers, none of our strikers. Where? I keep hearing this. Have they bought him yet? I keep hearing this. No, if they buy Pedro Porro, sure. Pedro Porro probably fits in nicely to Man City because he'll have to do less defending, spend more time on the football. Pedro Porro's one footballer. Sure, when have they bought him? Where was the bid? Where was the bid? I keep hearing this. Where was the bid? But this is what I mean. Look at these people. Porro's great. Adogi's great. This player's great. Great. He's great. Great. They're all great. Are they? Look. Rumours. Atletico Madrid want Romero. Where's the bid? Real Madrid want Romero. Where's the bid? But again, see, look, I told you he's a bit of an idiot. See, I told you. He's not listening to the conversation. The conversation is, why should we be top 5? The conversation is, why should we be top 5? Sunderland, Palace and Brighton is not what we're talking about. Marios, I don't know what happened to you. You used to be a really nice lad. You've turned into a real idiot lately. I'm so sorry, but you've turned into an idiot. So again, other than the players I've named, who gets into these squads? Who starts above Morgan Rogers for Villa? Which one of our strikers starts above Watkins? Which one of our centre mids goes above Kamara, McGinn, Tielemans? Which one? Marios, listen to the conversation. You're not listening to the conversation again. You're just saying things. Listen to the conversation or go away. Join in with the actual conversation. This is the problem. This is the problem. Everyone says these things with zero evidence. If I put data and evidence in front of people, I'm told that I'm skewing it. I'm not. I don't make the data. I just show it. We buy average after average after average, and then our fans still expect us to be up there with those teams. It is unbelievable how silly we can be. Spurs could go out right now and we'd buy a Tyler Dibbling and people would go, oh, look at that. That's a good signing. Based on what? Oh, no, I like it. But based on what? What's he done? Like, based on what? We don't apply logic. Big up to Tony Rodriguez with a super sticker. Thank you, bro. Really appreciate you, my man. Happy Christmas to you and yours. Really appreciate you, mate. Big up to Lee Enigma. So the club needs to address the fans' radio silence. I mean, for me, more important than addressing the fans, Lee, they've got to address the transfer window. But yes, I agree with you. Absolutely. Yes. Big up to Adam Horlock. Thank you very much, buddy. Said Enoch kids need to look at other models that work. Agreed. See what the other clubs are doing. What's worked? Why has it worked? Can we implement it? Surely, it feels like it's not rocket science, right? Surely it's not rocket science. Big up to you, Adam. Big up to Rodney. So big up to Savva. Merry Christmas, fella. I hope all is well. Happy Christmas to you as well, Rodney. We'll do a show on Christmas morning, by the way. Happy Christmas to you, mate. All is well, my end. Just frustrated that people don't ever seem to want to listen. But it is what it is. It is what it is. 1 second. So bear with me 1 second. Sorry, guys, that was to do with the real world, the corporate world. So sorry about that. I had to take it. Big up to you, Rodney. Happy Christmas to you, my friend. Big up to the Aussie Frank Lover. Say Merry Christmas, Savva. Thanks for the shows and everything you do for us, viewers and others like Monday, mate. Listen, I try my best. Yeah, we had a great day yesterday. Gave out a lot of food and drink to lots of homeless people across London. Some big smiles. There were some tears. And it just felt nice to give something back, selfishly and unselfishly. It felt nice to give something back. And yeah, so thank you very much, my man. Really appreciate that. Big up to DB Forever. Thank you very much for the super sticker. Really, really appreciate you, my man. Really appreciate that. Thank you for everything you've done for me this year. And big up to Paul Langley. Thank you for your support this year as well. So Sunderland is an anomaly, is an anomaly like Forest last season. The best teams are in these positions every year. We can't use them as comparison. Paul, this is the problem. When you've got people like Marios, they just say, what about Sunderland? Sunderland are doing well now. The first time they've been doing well for decades. And we go, oh, but look at them, right? It's madness. But again, these children don't quite get it, mate. We go through this year in, year out. They don't quite get it. Look, as I've said, when all is not well at your club, all is not well at your club. And all is not well at our club, right? All is not well at our club. You can expect a massive improvement, then buy better footballers. It's really simple. Buy better footballers. Really, really simple. Yeah, I'm giving Marios another few chances. He used to be a really nice lad. Now he just talks absolute waffle on a day. He thinks we should be fourth. I truly worry about anyone going, that should be fourth. Getting a bollocking. I was smiling the whole way. What are you talking about? Weird people. Yeah, agree, Daryl. Agree. I think we need to hear something from him. Look, as I've said, I want to see us buy proper players and have a plan in place. Too many people think that everything is a computer game. Too many people like Marios have no clue how an actual football club works. They think you can lose your best players, not replace them, and you're just automatically better whilst negotiating Champions League as well. It's madness. These people, again, don't have the maturity to go, well, hang on. Sunderland, for example, play once a week. They don't have Champions League. So, we don't have the maturity to do it. As I said, look at Palace's form. It's starting to go, isn't it? Look at Palace's form. It's starting to go because they're playing every 3 or 4 days. And they have not got a squad that can cope with it. Don't agree. I don't agree. Where is the plenty of quality? Where is it? I don't see hardly any. Where's the plenty of quality? I think this is one of the weakest squads I've seen in the Premier League era. Marios, see you later, mate. You're a child. I used to really like you. You're a child. You want to play like Palace? I tell you what, be careful what you wish for, people. Be careful what you wish for. For those that want to play like Palace, they are so pragmatic. They are very pragmatic. I don't know if people actually watch football. Palace are a very pragmatic team, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but bearing in mind the people that keep calling Spurs boring now, that's how you know Marios is trolling, right? I don't like Thomas Frank's football, but I want Glasner. Glasner is a good manager, but he's pragmatic. His teams don't play nice football. They are hard to beat. They get into a good shape. They are pragmatic. So which one is it? Do we want good football or do we want pragmatic football? Again, look, Spurs have plenty of depth. That's not the same as quality. We don't have a strong attack. No, I'm sorry. That's not true. We don't have any quality in midfield and we don't have a strong attack. Again, guys, just exposed him as a liar. Last week in the show, this is the most boring football. We want to be entertained, said Marios. So he's a liar. Sorry, I will expose people. You try and come in here and lie, I'll expose you. By the way, Marios, don't make me. I can find every comment you have ever said in my chat, right? If I have to, I will bring it up to show everyone that you're trolling. Right? I will find it. Right. Here I tell you what, I don't even think I can bring this up. Let me see. Right. Let me see if I can. Here's one. I'm going to show you that Marios is a liar. Right. I'm going to show you right now. You ready? Nope, not this one. Here we go. Share screen. Right. So you can see there, right? This is the background screen that you lot don't normally get to see. Now, there's nothing in there. Now, when people say stuff and I call them a liar and they go, no, I'm not lying, I can see every comment anyone's ever made. Can you see this right-hand side, people? Can everyone see this? Look, I can keep going all day long. All day long, right? Let's have a look here. Can you see this? I want to see attacking football at least. Right? That's what that comment says. I want to see attacking football at least. Right? I could go through. I could get loads of them. Right? I want to see attacking football at least. Then he wants Glasner. Well, which one is it? Sorry, why don't show that screen? Sorry, what are you on about? What are you on about? I can see every comment you all say. Every comment you all say. So when Matt comes in here and says, I didn't say that, I can see every comment that you say. Every comment. Look, I'll show you. Look. Right, let me scroll down. Look. Look at this. Every comment from every show. Look. Every comment. Every comment. Every comment. Every comment. Every comment. Look, I could just keep going and going and going. So when people say, I didn't say that, I can search for it. Right? So be careful, right? When people just come in and lie and go, no, I didn't say that, I can see it. By the way, it's being reported that Chelsea have now joined the race for Semenyo. And you see, this is it. It's not even about receipts, right? It's about that when people come in and say, no, I never said that, I can find it. Right? I can find it. And this is why I remember a lot of what a lot of people say. I remember a lot of what people say when they go, no. All I care about is entertaining football. All right, cool. So then when I bring up that you've said that's not what you said in the past, oh, no, I didn't mean that. Come on, man. Come on. See, notice Marios is gone now. Look, he's gone. He's gone. By the way, there's loads of them comments from Marios going, yeah, I want to see attacking football. I want an attacking manager. Now, Glasner is the flavour of the month. Glasner's a manager that concedes possession. Glasner is a manager that concedes possession. Right? His teams work hard. Glasner's a great manager, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Glasner's a great manager. His teams are hard to beat. They work hard. They're set up well structured. Right? But when people are going, I want to watch good football, Glasner's not your guy, is he? So again, this is what I'm saying. People that just say manager out, cool. What's the answer? Be consistent. Because what will happen, I've said this a million times. What will happen is those fans crying for Glasner right now when it starts to go bad under him or he has a difficult spell, they'll go, oh, at least we want to see good football. Yeah, but you wanted Glasner. That's not how his teams play. Right? So, sure, okay. So, what is it you want? He has a track record of winning trophies. Fine. Oh, 1 second. Fine. So, if it's winning trophies, don't worry about the style of play. This is all I ask from people, for a little bit of consistency. Right? Consistency. And again, not sensitive, not triggered, proving people wrong for lying. Yeah? Again, not sensitive, not triggered. I love this. Again, another child who uses silly words on the internet. Oh, you're triggered. Triggered. What? Fucking grow up. Did you go to school? Right? No. Just proving a few people wrong. And if anyone hasn't worked out by now, my whole shows are about, right? My whole shows are interacting with people. Good, bad, ugly. Again, another person who says it, right? Just because I wanted Ange out, right? Just because it's not working right now doesn't mean I wouldn't have wanted Ange out. Again, it's just silly people. Told you, I can see what everyone said. I can see what everyone said. I can see. So sometimes when people go, oh, don't call them a troll, they've just got a difference of opinion. You do realize before I've called them a troll, I've gone back, looked at all their comments and gone, yeah, you're trolling, right? But you all think I've just seen one comment and gone, oh, you're a troll. And I agree, Money Mace. And I agree. And this is half the problem, right? This is half the problem. Because we won the Europa League, these people think we're better than we are. This is the problem. I love it. When I call people out, Money Mace, it's, oh, you're triggered. No, this is my style. I want to speak to people in the chat. I hate it when YouTube shows don't bring up comments. I hate it. And Daniel, absolutely, my man. Look, bringing up comments of people I like as well. People will bash the football style when we're losing, but they won't if we're winning and flying. But this is the problem, Dan, right? How many teams play pragmatic football and win things on the regular? It's very difficult, right? How many people play bad football but win things regularly? We had to play bad to win the Europa League, but that can't work every week in the Premier League, right? So it is what it is. Yeah, the charity day went really well, mate. The charity day went really well. Long day, lots of legs. Lots of tired legs, lots of walking around, but it is what it is. Look, guys, as I've said, we're going to see this January. Fans, I think fans can argue all day long. Ange versus Frank versus Poch versus. We can do this all day long. It's great. Doesn't get us anywhere. I want to see what we're doing moving forward. If you sack the manager, cool. Who are you bringing in? Why are you bringing them in? Are you backing them? If you're keeping the manager, cool. How are you backing him? That's all I care about. I don't care about the point scoring. I don't care about the, you wanted Ange out. Yeah, I did. And what? How's that worked out? Well, I don't know. It's only been 3 or 4 months. And this is it, Paul. Brentford go above us for the first time at the weekend. Right? And Keith Andrews is great. You mean Keith Andrews, who's picking up the work that Thomas Frank had done? Right? You know, it's mad, isn't it? Paul, you're absolutely spot on. As I said, every manager is the flavour of the month. Sure. And I still think we need patience and time. You've got to realise, right, that if you call for patience and time and don't get it, then you can't say I'm wrong. If there's no patience or time, what can ever be achieved? And that doesn't apply to Frank. That applies to any football manager. Not many of these. Not many of these. I'd keep Xavi Simmons, Kudus, Van der Ven, Madison. And again, now you all know this person's lying. This guy was saying we won the transfer window. I think we did a whole bit earlier in the show where we worked out I really didn't. I was the one saying I didn't rate it. So again, guys, as I said, when you see liars, it's so difficult when people just come in like this and lie. And I'm going to find out who this account is now because I can do that, which is brilliant. Let's have a look. Channel activity. Here we go. Yeah. Hasn't had an account for long. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Knew it. See, I'm looking at every single one of their comments. Same thing. This is another Ange fan who just wants to change their account. Big up to Jim Berg, coys, and happy Christmas. Still not sure Frank is the one. Sure. I don't think any of us are, but surely give them the time and the windows to try. That's all I've said. Enoch needs to get us better players all over the squad. This. Absolutely. That's all I've said. And everyone goes mad. Just want some time, some patience. If it doesn't work out, we're going to get a new manager, aren't we? Big up, Jim. Appreciate you. And this is very generous indeed, John. Very generous. Way too generous. Said, hi, Savva. Smoky boy here. Thanks for all your efforts this year and the charity day. Have a great Christmas, buddy. Listen, you have a great Christmas as well. This is very, very generous of you, my man. I try my best. I try and give a show where I will read out trolls. I will read out non-trolls. I will read out the good, the bad, the ugly. Some people like it. Some people don't. I appreciate people like you massively. It's very, very generous. Look, thank you. That is humbling. I really appreciate that. And also, big up to Callum who bought me a coffee earlier and then he came on. Really appreciate that. And big up to Richest Man as well, who's just sent a massive coffee buy of about 25 quid. So Merry Christmas, Savva. Thanks for the content throughout the year and all the best. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you. I really, really do appreciate you. So thank you so much to every single one of you. Look, I am going to end the show in a minute. Look, I don't think there's one wrong or one right. Right? I've said this all along. I don't think there's one wrong at the club, one right at the club. I think there's a lot of different issues. There's a lot of different things. We will see what happens. If the manager goes, cool. We start again. All I'm going to say is this. What's the plan? What's the plan? So I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that. Sack the manager. Don't sack the manager. Buy in January, don't in January. What's the plan? You know, we move, don't we? We move. People can say Frank out. Got no problem with people saying Frank out. I just want to know who's coming in, and I want to know that he's going to be backed. And if he's not going to be backed, then what does it really matter? Big up to Control Bot Base Delete. Big up to you. He's just sent me a message. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Guys, girls, you know, we move. What will be, will be. Some people seem to have a proper football conversation. Other people just seem capable of just saying one word. It is what it is. I'm going to send you over to, let's see, is Sean or anyone live? Just seeing if anyone's live. I don't know if anyone is. Right to Manson, I mean, never a foul. Can't see that anyone's live at the moment, are they? Am I just missing? I'm going to send you over to Never a Foul. When you get there, just say Savva Raid or FHTV Raid. Much love, guys. Take care. Keep it real. I'll see you tomorrow. And as always, come on, you Spurs. And big up to Tony for another super chat at the end. Thank you very much, buddy. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.